Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. That was on Tuesday, where he addressed the House, and the nation is sitting on a keg of gunpowder regarding the issue of fake news. Hence, the need for the government to immediately begin to regulate the social media space. The minister stated this while responding to questions when he appeared before the House of Representatives Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values to defend the 2021 budget proposal. He said the biggest challenge facing the country is the issue of fake news and misinformation, warning that the next war that will be fought in the country and across the globe may be fought through social media. Mohammed further made reference to the recent end-SARS protest, saying that it was fought on social media. Now, it is a legitimate request on one hand. Well, there are two things involved here: fake news and social media. Can you tell the two apart?
Maybe you want to start.
Okay, no problem. I think when you have a propagandist in power, this is what you experience. This was such a country experience. If Lai Mohammed had started the promotion of regulation of the social media when he was in the opposition, I would have supported him. I would have clapped for him, because they use social media to gain power, and having ascended the throne, they want to pull it down. That's the problem of the black man. The black man will use a ladder to climb up. As soon as he climbs to the top, it drops it so that nobody will come up. So what he's saying is not because he loves this country so much. It is because he does not want Nigerians to talk about the ill of this government. The propaganda that they use to come to power, and they have not been able to fulfill any of their promises. That is why he's talking about controlling the social media. Every time it's social media since they came to power. But when they were in the opposition, they did not see anything wrong about it. This is my pain about this government. Okay, what is fake news? You asked that question. What is the new news? When government is the greatest promoter of fake news in this country. I know you will ask me how. Because when they were in the opposition, what did they tell us? They told us that we were suffering when we were buying a liter of fuel for 87 naira, that we were suffering. That when they gain power, they will sell it at 40 naira. How much are we buying it today? Is that not fake news? They promised us that they will build a refinery each year. They have spent 5 years now. If they have been building a refinery each year, from year 1 to now, they would have built 5 refineries. Have they laid the foundation of a single refinery? What is that? That is fake news and lie. So lies and fake news can never be separated. When they have made promises and they fail to fulfill those promises, that is fake news, that is lie. When government refuse to tell the people a president will be sick, and they will lie that he's in the country, whether he has been flown out, enjoying good health care outside.
Where hospitals are.
When the hospitals at home here are decrepit, have failed. What is that? That is fake news. So these are people that they don't, to me, they don't have shame, because the thing they are fighting against, they are fighting against themselves, because it is government officials that promote fake news most in this country. In other countries, when Donald Trump was sick, when he was in isolation, we all heard about him. But if we were to be here, we will not hear about it. That is what promotes fake news. When makers of news, government officials that supposed to give news item to journalists and the entire world, they are holding it. Then people will begin to ask questions. That is what is giving right to fake news. If a president is sick, and you tell the whole world, my citizen, our president is sick, he's in so hospital, let us pray for him. Will anybody be asking questions? Where's our president? Today, the president does not talk. Look at the protest. The protest was going on. Nigeria were saying, President, address your citizen. Address your citizen. Did he not refuse? Those are the things giving
until
rise
after
to,
the shooting.
After the shooting, those are the things that are giving rise to fake news. People will be asking, is our president where? Why is he not talking in such a situation? The country is on fire, the president is quiet. Maybe he's sick, or maybe they have taken him to Saudi Arabia. Maybe that is what is giving rise to fake news, because government officials refuse to release news to the people. And when government officials refuse to speak to a citizen, what happened?
There will be speculation.
There will be speculation. People will be asking. There will be insinuation. I hear say the president is sick. I heard say that he's in Saudi Arabia. I heard that he has been taken to Britain. These are the issues. So they should purge themselves. They should purge themselves of fake news. They are the one promoting fake news. If they are listening to us now, I am telling them that it is government that is promoting fake news because they are hiding information from the people. You don't hide information from your citizens.
And the thing about information, if it doesn't come from the right source, it will definitely come from the wrong source.
From the wrong source.
And when information comes from the wrong source, so many...
That is the issue. So they have to talk to the citizen.
You see, I really don't know what they're calling fake, because definitions in Nigeria are different from the universal definitions. When the NSAS protest was going on, for instance, if you tune to NTA, that is supposed to be what should be giving us information about government and how government is trying to make our lives better, they were showing documentaries. You would hardly see anything talking NSAS. They would be showing documentaries as how somebody is eating new yam somewhere, or people dye clothes and all that, and then the news, when it is read, anything mentioning NSAS will be so watered down that you don't know anything. And when you are starved of what you need, especially information, like you said, you will have to go elsewhere. Now, we are in a country where the councillors that are elected directly from among the village people never have town hall meetings. It's governor that will come and have town hall meeting with the people. And when he comes, it will still be the representatives that were supposed to talk to him in his house that will be given the microphone to talk. If you have ever attended a town hall meeting, you know that people don't have a say. So you will resort to another place where you can say something and hear something. And sometimes, we all know, we are all journalists, that if one information gets from one source and passes through 3, 4, 5 to 10 sources, it becomes something else. So why not give us the original? Now, if you want to fight fake news, it is not to gag the person you're thinking or alleging is giving fake news. Give us the correct news.
That is it.
Because if we know that the budget is 100,000 naira, and you have put it in the public domain, and we know that somebody else comes and tells us it's 120,000, we will know that that person is a liar. You don't need to tell us. But when you are hiding it,
because the people are not stupid.
Nigerians are some of the most intelligent people in the world. Maybe that's why we find problems, because everybody's trying to outsmart the other. But when you take us as fools, we will find a way to get information for ourselves. And sometimes the information may not be good enough. But accountability is key. Openness is key. Trust is what the government should build. If that cannot be done, no matter how you gag the people, they will tear. Okay, when there was this political impasse in the past, where we had Radio Kudirat, was it not run from a boss in London? He couldn't have had that license in Nigeria to run a station like that. But Soyinka ran it from a boss in London. So there must be an avenue where people will pass information to those that are willing to listen. So to fight fake news, give us the correct news, leave it there, and we will know who is a liar. But we've, over the years, especially in the last 5 years, seen government officials that have brazenly told us lies, and then turn around to tell us that we are the ones who are telling the lies. And I don't know, maybe there's something in the name. Let me leave it at that.
Now, let's look at the social media, because as it is right now, the social media tend to be like the only place to get government to be accountable. Because now, we learned that the separation of power, that's the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature,
doesn't exist here anyway.
Yeah, part of their function, apart from their individual jobs, is to checkmate each other. So there's supposed to be a checks and balance. But in a society where the legislature cannot check the judiciary because the skeleton is in their own cupboard is worse, the media is now supposed to be the avenue for check and balance. And let me not talk about the media in Nigeria now. So, and so the social media space now, for better or for worse, as it were, happens to be like the major means to check the excesses of the government. So, regulating, I think they should come out to tell us what they mean by regulation, because the people now, it's like, okay, the only power we have to put you in check, you want to take it out of our hands.
Well, you see, even radio and television stations are facing problems now. We don't know if after this program, Galaxy Television will also be sanctioned because you said the truth, or not just the truth. Maybe it's not the truth to some other people, but you said your mind. We know after the NSAS protest that some stations were sanctioned by bodies that are funded by the government, because no matter whether they are supposed to be the regulatory body for media houses, they are funded by the government, and he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So when they say regulation, they should tell us what that regulation means, because as far as I'm concerned, regulation to them is gagging the press, gagging social media space, and that is our own town hall. That is the place where people express themselves, they abuse themselves, especially when you go to Twitter. That's a very dangerous street. You go to Twitter and you do something. These are people who stand on the floor of the assembly and call the people who are protesting for good governance, for a better relationship with the police, for even the welfare of the police, and call them children. People who are not far from, in fact, if the person who made that comment in the Lagos State House of Assembly were to be a political, maybe chieftain, he might be a youth leader. At 47 or 46, is 46 now. At 46, you are a very small youth in the political party and all that. Yes. So you're calling people, because you are privileged today, children. And then another one stood also on the floor of the assembly and said, all the youths are always on drugs. Now, they are saying it on the floor of the assembly. National television, broadcast everywhere, maybe outside the country. You're calling your youths in the country drug addicts to the whole world, and then you're leaving your comment to come and regulate the people who are writing it on paper, because theirs is the one that is giving you a bad image. I think it's, forgive the word, it's rubbish. Regulation, as we know it, cannot work in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes, I think the media, either the conventional media, social media, is already being regulated. How do I mean? We have law of libation. We have law of defamation and all that. So if I have offended you, if I have defamed your name, there are laws already that you can use to seek justice. So what the government is trying to do is not regulation but oppression. It's suppression and oppression. That's what they want to do. If not, we have laws already.
But the social media space can be a very terrible place sometimes.
What is terrible about that?
Terrible.
If I malign your name there, if I make libelous statement against you on the social media, you have the right to take me to court by virtue of the law of defamation and libel.
And of course, of the evidence. Because
yes, the evidence is there. So what else is government looking for? So what government is looking for is suppression, not regulation.
You were saying so.
No, I was just, you are not a village man, I am. So if you attend a village meeting, you hear all sorts of things. The village drunk will be the one to challenge even the chief in a village meeting. They will argue, they will talk all sorts of things, but at the end of the day, the truth will come out. And resolution, there will be resolution. There will be resolution to whatever problem has been brought. But in a case where you say, come to the village meeting, let only the chief talk and 2 elders. That's what is happening here. And if they say that is what is going to happen, well, fine. Social media space will be regulated. I'm quoting that, regulated, but there will be a space that people will vent their anger. And if that space
that would
is
be dangerous.
created, that would be more dangerous
That would
than
be
what
dangerous.
it is now.
You see, every civilized society allow the citizen to talk. They vent their anger by peaceful protest. I said it the other time when I came that any government that is trying to suppress peaceful protest is playing with fire. Because if you prevent people from speaking their mind, they go underground and become militants. Is that what the government want? They want the replica of Boko Haram. People went to the street and they were peaceful. You say you don't want that.
Because those ones don't talk, they just act.
Yes, so that means if you push them underground, they take up arms against you. Is that what you want? I asked that question the other time. So there is no any society that wants progress that will suppress peaceful protest. It is only a violent protest that government is against. But as long as people gather somewhere, they are not vandalizing property, they are not killing people, they are just saying this is what we want. Then you say you don't want it, you are playing with danger. Because if they go underground, what Boko Haram has been doing to us may be a child's play. If 78% of the population, I'm told that they are youth. If they should go underground and carry arms, is there any government that can fight that crop of people? The answer is no. No matter how sophisticated army you have, your army is always strong as long as the citizens give their support to that army. Once the citizens have taken their support from the army as porous as somebody that is not armed.
Yeah, but,
Let's tell ourselves the truth. This protest may not be the last. There's a possibility other protests will come. And you see, the problem we have is that in places that we call Sena climes, as if we are all mad here, we're not. In places that we call Sena climes, for instance, in America, they have burned statues of Trump so many times and made fun of him and all that. Nobody has been called, has been jailed. Here, somebody named a dog after one leader like that, and he was jailed for a long time until he changed the name of the dog. Let me not say, a lot of people will know that. But you see, the problem we will be having in every protest will be that a good protest, any protest at all, if you want to have a protest, the first thing is you meet the police, tell the police that we want to have a protest because of this and that and that, and they will give you the security. But in Nigeria, we have a situation where if there is wind that there's going to be a protest, it's the police themselves that will first of all come out and say all protests, all gatherings banned, which means if we have to hold a protest, it will be without the police because we already know they are not in support. So these police would have provided the security. I know we are going back to protest now. Would have provided the security and made sure that everything went well. But the police were the same ones sent by those who had the interest to tell us that there cannot be a protest.
Now let's go back to the social media as we round up because time is against that. But there must be something positive about the regulation of social media because one of the things, Lai Mohammed was talking about, of course, echoed by so many politicians, is to stop hate speech. And of course, we all know social media can be very brutal sometimes. So don't you think regulation, as it were, even though we don't know the kind of regulation, will be able to put a stop or reduce, the issue of
speech.
What is
speech and stuff that will
speech?
divide the country?
If I find Lai Mohammed, I'll ask him, what is hate speech? All the things they said before 2015, are they part of the hate speech? Because everything that you see on the social media are just like branches of what they had said before. Somebody said in this country that if power remains in a particular section or in the hands of a particular people, that there will be bloodshed in this country. If you said that, you would be in jail by now. So because you said it, it would be hate speech, and somebody else said it and it won't be hate speech, let them define the hate speech for us, and then if anybody commits that crime, let them have the political will to prosecute. But like Mr. Anya already said, all these laws are there. If you incite the public against whatever group, there are laws. If there is libel, there is a law. If there is whatever you say, you can mention, there is a law. Just have the political will to do what is right. And that is all. Regardless who is involved, whether you're a party member or not, do what is right.
Okay, yes, as he said, they have not given the definition of hate speech. And even though if they give their own definition may not be acceptable to me, because their definition may not be the same with me, because English language is very wide. The word that we use,
that'll be another problem.
Yes, the word that we use, because one word in English language can mean 20 things. Just like when Showore came up with a revolution now, they said that a forceful takeover of power, but the same word means a change of something. I can decide to turn this top of the table now. It's a change. It's a revolution.
Maybe they'll do the definition.
So they are the ones that will define it, and their definition may not be acceptable to us. Some of them told us, yes, Tony Momo told us that when they were campaigning that after 2 years in office, if they did not perform, we should stone them. So if we pick up stone and begin to stone them, now what is that?
Hate action.
So what would they? So what we are doing today is whatever they have told us. If we pick up stones and begin to stone them now, what would they describe? How would they describe that? Have they performed? I was buying where 87 naira and now buying it at 162. Can you say that that's a progress?
Well,
that can never be progress.
Just as we said before, we just hope these various panels of inquiry that's been inaugurated by a lot of the states will come up with a good recommendation that will heal this nation, of course, prevent future occurrence. Unfortunately, this time we have for this program. Thank you so much for coming, Iyamgo Agaji.
Thank you.
A broadcast journalist. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Of course, Victor Anya, a public affairs analyst, and of course, a journalist. Thank you so much.
Many thanks for having me.
Okay, next week, Saturday, is another day on Galaxy Television, 1 p.m. I'm Solomon Offen. Good afternoon.